Band directors, it's Dwayne Huff, Band Leadership Seminars, Band Leadership Online. Hope you're doing well. I had this suggestion a couple of years back, actually, by band director to go live at this time in the morning because you guys are ramping up into your day, maybe starting your day. And so I said, I laughed at the time. I'm like, dude, that's early. But I have the benefit of getting up early in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays, especially to take the kids to the bus because my wife goes to work early. And anyway, so I'm here with you today. I hope to make this consistent. So if you like this time frame, please let me know. Hey, before I forget and jump in here, we're going to talk about integrity, how to demonstrate integrity when developing your student leaders. That's a question that came in from the band directors. But before I jump in there, I got a couple of free resources for you. You'll see the link here. Grab it. It's a free mini course. If you're training and developing your leaders right now or selecting them, this resource will help you to do that free of charge. And you're going to love it. I've gotten great feedback since I launched it. Grab that. That's the first link. The other link is I'm doing some free live events on my dime this year. And if you'd like to look into that opportunity, it's limited. Jump in there, take a look. All the details are on that page. But let's talk about integrity, demonstrating integrity. This, again, question came from a band director in my band leadership inner circle private Facebook group. When people request membership, join us if you'd like. It's an exclusive group for band directors. I ask them 3 questions, and these answers come directly from that. And the reason I created that is because I wanted you guys to be able to network, get best practices, get your questions answered, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on that. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name, again, is Dwayne Huff with Band Leadership Seminars. I'm a 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major in the marching band, never been an educator, honor you for everything you do. But 7 years ago, I promised to give back when I was 15. I started that process 7 years ago. I traveled the country working with bands, and bands that are successful, bands that are committed to the success of their band and their student leaders, which means they don't make excuses. They make an investment in their band program, just like they do with their staff and private lessons and bringing clinicians in and things like that. They also value that in the leadership aspects, whether they're going to see Dr. Tim and making that investment, or they're working with him live, or bringing me in, or any other resource. They make investments. They don't make excuses. They make investments. And those type of bands reach out to me and say, hey, Dwayne, how do we get leadership principles to stick, not just through marching band season, but for the rest of the time? And this issue of how do we demonstrate integrity comes up. And here's what I tell them. I'm like, well, first of all, let's define integrity, because there's a lot of different definitions, even if you Google it. The one that I want to work with today is doing what you say you're going to do and sticking to that. Some people would even call that character, which character is also doing the right thing even if nobody's looking. But let's get another definition that I think is middle of the road for integrity, because that's a big word. This definition says the quality of being honest and having a strong moral principle, moral uprightness. And then another one says having integrity means doing the right thing in a reliable way. It's a personality trait that we admire, since it means a person has a moral compass that doesn't waver. It literally means having wholeness of character, just as an integer is a whole number, an integer, sorry. I knew that much about math. An integer is a whole number with no fractions. Okay, so let's look at that. How do we get students? And by the way, if you're joining me on the replay or even live here, say hello, leave a comment, drop your thoughts in here, because this is my personal opinion, right? And I'm here to serve you guys, and I want to know how I can do that better. But I also want to learn from you in this format, in this forum. So if you're a band director or a music educator watching this, feel free to chime in, jump in here, share this message if you feel like it's one that other students or band directors need to hear, or tag a band director in here. I'm sure they would appreciate the value that potentially this could bring to them. But anyway, integrity. What's the best way to demonstrate integrity when developing your student leaders? I'm looking at, guys, by the way, forgive my appearance here. I know I look like I just rolled out of bed, and I did, because I wanted to be here with you guys. I got my favorite Mickey cup for all you Disney fans out there. It's got something sticking to it here. Mickey Mouse in the house. Any Disney fans out there? Give me a heart. Give me a heart if you're a Disney fan. I love Disney. Integrity. Here's what I would say. Have the conversation with your students about your concept and idea of what integrity is, why it's important to your band program, why it's important to them, why it's important to their life, why it's important to their personal brand. You know, they're all on social media and they're constantly putting themselves out there. Well, if they're saying they're going to do something and they're not following up and they're not being the people of integrity and wholeness, then, you know, people start to pick up on that and make decisions about them, right? Even in the band. Listen, if they're trying to be leaders, they think, oh, I can just show up to an interview or an audition, I can crush it, and I'll become a leader. You and I both know that's not true. You look at them for the backlog and the history of who they are, what they are. Are they in integrity? Do they do what they're going to say they're going to do? Do they follow up? Do they stay the course when it gets hard? Are they whole in their commitment? And are they honest? And so I would have that conversation with your student leaders or your potential leaders collectively as a whole. And you can do it informally by just mentioning it at rehearsal. I used to love whenever my band directors would pause in the middle of rehearsal and share a story. So that's always a good way to start it out, but also teach those lessons because it gave us a break. We weren't so focused. We'd sit back, we'd listen, and we'd absorb. There's so many great lessons you guys are teaching your students. There's so many great lessons that I learned being a student. And I think this is a good way to do it. Share a story, share a personal story, share a band story, right? About integrity, and then highlight the benefits. Or rather than you telling them, ask them or put them in small groups and say, guys, the word integrity, this is a great way to do it, by the way. The word integrity gets thrown around a lot. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that? But before you share it, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Jot it down on a piece of paper right there on your stand. And then here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to pair up or group up with some people that you don't normally spend time with. Somebody other than your friend, somebody across the band, somebody that you don't hang out with. And I want you guys to sit down in a group and I want you to talk about what you believe integrity is, what your personal definition. Don't pull out your phones and look it up, but let's talk about integrity. What is it? Have them powwow about that. And then as a group, have them come up and have a little fun and present their ideas. Invite them to draw pictures. Invite them to use words. Invite them to do a skit. But wait, I don't have all that time in my band room. Trust me. Do it once. If you don't do it with everybody, do it with your leaders. Have a day with them and get their thoughts and their ideas. And then rather than nail it down and tell them, facilitate a conversation to get them to self-discover. People support what people create. And then they're still if they're still off base and off track, then you can guide that conversation and say, guys, that's some great thoughts. That's some great ideas. But let's talk about how integrity is important to you. How's it important to the band? How's it important in your life? How it's important to your parents and why you need to be in integrity. And then just share it with them. Hey guys, if you say you're going to do something, follow up on it. Then maybe you keep a little chart of some of the things that they want to accomplish as leaders in the band. And you say, okay guys, we're going to sign these out. Follow up with me in a week, or we'll follow up in a week and we'll talk about the progress that you've made. And just set them up for success. Say, look, things are going to get challenged. You're going to have tests. Things are going to come up. You're not going to want to do it. This is the test of integrity. And I believe in each and every one of you, and I want to see the result there, right? So the other thing I would say is this, and this is a little bit of just straightforwardness. I'm really talking to me and also you because I need to hear this because I have 3 kids. I have a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old about to be 10, and a 5-year-old. And man, I'll tell you, I remember one time I was, my son had a dads and donuts things going on at school, and I was running a little bit late. I had a meeting come up and I couldn't get out of it. He didn't know about it, but I didn't show up on time. I was late, and he told the teacher, he goes, my daddy never lies. He will be here. I better be in integrity. And I showed up. I did, right? But they learn from us. You've told me this as music educators. You've told me this as band directors. Some of those kids come into that band environment and the only example of leadership, of integrity, of honesty, of follow through, of commitment, of a moral compass, of doing what's right comes from you. So if you're not living consistently, and again, I'm talking to me, I'm not beating up on you. If you're living in consistently integrity, then they see it demonstrated in real time. And listen, if you could use some help with instilling all of these life skills and values and principles that will serve them as student leaders, band members, and great citizens whenever they graduate, I got 2 resources for you there. One's a free mini course, grab it. The other one, I'm doing some free live events on my dime. There's something involved in that I think you'll be very excited about. Check that link out. You'll see the 2 links here. And take those and use them because they're going to instill some of those values. But that's my thoughts on how to demonstrate integrity as you're teaching your student leaders, how to get them to demonstrate it, how to get them to understand it and self-identify it. But you as an educator leading that charge as an example, because you might be the only person that they see that truly in. And that's the beautiful thing about what you do, right? I am who I am today because of the great music educators who spoke into my life, led me, guided me directly, pushed back on me, challenged me, and made me stay accountable to being a better person. And I can't thank them enough. That's why I do what I do. So even if you're watching this on the replay, if you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, or things that you do as a band director that helps instill integrity in these kids, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. If this served you, give it a heart. Like the page if you like these live videos. You'll see more of them when I go live. And if there's anything I can do to serve you, bandleadershipseminars.com, tons of resources over there. It used to be that I only offered an online course for $500 and live events for $2,500 to $5,000. Not true anymore. I got resources over there that start at $27 that will serve you right now this time of year. If you're interested, check them out. If not, stay tuned and I'll go live again. Drop your comments, your questions in here. I'm here to serve you. So the more I know what you need, want, and expect, the more I can deliver. And I respond to every message, to every comment, to every suggestion, right? I'm a real person. I love to hear from you. And I love to serve you and your students. If there's a video that you believe I can serve your students with, if there's a message you're trying to reinforce with your students, I hear band directors all the time, Dwayne, you came in here, you said the same thing I've been saying, but they listened. You know as well as I do, it's that third party. You bring clinicians into your band to rehearse your band, and they say the same things, and you're back in the room going, because they get it. It's that fresh voice. You're doing a great job. It's landing. But when somebody else comes and say exactly the same thing that you're saying, it lands. And if you have something like that, drop it in the comments or shoot me a message. I'll shoot a video just like this. I'll go live. I'll speak to the students. They watch them. They comment on them. They ask questions of me so I can help you influence that. And I promise to stay in integrity and do exactly that if you leave me a comment. So like the page, go grab those free resources, the free mini course. It's yours for free. No obligation, no catch, no nothing. Just grab it. 6 videos I put together for students. You'll see the whole thing on the page. And then the live events that I'm doing on my dime. It's a promotion. It's limited. It ends next week. Don't wait. Get in on it because I've got to make the schedule to be able to do that. And stay tuned. And remember, you can inspire superior performance in your band. Just empower your leaders to help you on the journey to achieving your vision, starting right now. So marching band rolls around. You guys are ready to go, loaded for bear. You'll crush it. And if I can be of service to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And we'll talk soon. Have a great morning. Have a great Thursday. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.